Welcome, everybody, to the Hockey Think Tank podcast, brought to you by the hockeythinktank.com, a website for all players, parents, and coaches to go to get a little bit of education and a little bit of inspiration regarding the greatest game on the planet. What an episode we have for you guys here today. It is just Jeffrey, Jehu, Zoolander, Lavecchio, and I. And we are going to be talking about the 5 life lessons that we learned playing hockey that we are using in our lives still today. So I think if you've been a part of this podcast or listened to us for a while, this is something that Vex and I talk about all the time. What are some things that hockey teaches us that we can use to make us better people and better in our lives after hockey? And so we are going to go over the 5 that we feel like the most exemplifies our success in life here today and the success of those around us. So really looking forward to doing that. Before we do get over to that conversation, let's bring on the podcast talent, Jeffrey, Jehu, Lavecchio, with a nice new little beanie on, little hat there.
You know whose this is?
Up, dude?
Do you know whose this is? It's Swaggy P's merch, man.
Oh, is it really?
Dude, we got to have him on the podcast. He texted me yesterday. We got to have this guy in the podcast.
Yeah,
if you guys don't know who Swaggy P is, go on Instagram, look up Swaggy P. I'm sure if you're on
who has more followers, you or him?
Me, way more. Not a big deal. I have no idea. I'm
gonna check.
Now I gotta look.
You can tell the people how you're doing, and I'm gonna check.
Okay. I'm doing great, but you should follow Swaggy P because he does some of the coolest ish you've ever seen with the puck ever. I've seen it online for years, played against him in juniors. I think I played against him one game in college. And then I played, and then I was doing some Bauer stuff with him in New Hampshire last month. And what this guy does with the puck, like, it's like so freaking cool. Like, it is so much fun to watch. And I have no idea how to do it. Apparently, I got more followers than him. Not a big deal, but
hold on.
He'll have way more than me with what he's doing now. He does like in between periods for the Kings. He just went to the Penguins. He did in between periods, like stick tricks with the Penguins. Like, this guy is nasty. I just like him.
So himself has less followers than you. He's at 67,000. But Elevato too, their company, which is him and Tori Mitchell, and I think Kevin Sned's a part of that.
And then one more guy, big time guy from Alaska, NHL player, Scott Gomez.
Oh, yeah. Ever heard of him?
Yeah. Ever heard of him?
They have 169,000 followers. So
yeah,
you'll get that in the next couple months, or what?
Team me up with 4 guys like that. We'll see what happens. I also don't care about Instagram followers. I do what I do because I like helping people. But yeah, you guys should shoot him a follow, and we will get him and Mitchie on the podcast. They're great guys. They're doing really cool things for the game. I love their business model with Elevato too. The small rinks, being able to teach more personal skills and stuff like that. So he gave me a beanie, and just felt like wearing it tonight. I drew the duck blue because, to be honest, I've never seen a blue duck, and I just really wanted to see a blue duck. All right.
That's quacktastic.
Yeah. But you asked how I was. Back to that question. That was 17 minutes ago. I'm doing great. Just saw Toph a couple days in a row. Gave him that new sexy GMBM hat he's wearing, which is on my website, gmbm.com. Take a look. What's up? Merch tab. Getting ready to get back after it this week, back home. Excited to do this podcast. Really excited to record short shifts because I got a fun one tonight too.
There we go. Boom. And so we got to see you in the flesh Christmas at my parents' house. A lot of fun. And I got to put it on the gram, actually. I have an unreal video of you watching Celia try to do her somersault.
Oh, that was electric last night, guys. We've got a big family, and I'd say we had like 50 to 60% of the family in Toph's dad's family room, and Toph's youngest daughter, was it youngest? Yeah, youngest daughter.
Celia,
how old
2
is she?
years old.
2 years old. She couldn't do a somersault on her own, so a bunch of the girlfriends and cousins are trying to help her do a somersault. Kylie's helping her, and Emily, Vinny's girlfriend's helping her, and Jesse's helping her, and everybody's going nuts because she's like 98% of the way there on her own.
And she's trying so hard. She's trying so hard. She's never done one before, but she sees her sisters do it, and she's trying so hard.
We're
and she's got like
nuts.
the biggest crowd, like everybody, there's what, like 30 people in there that are like cheering her on, and she's like going up, and she's like on her tippy toes, and she's almost there, and then she like falls to the side and stuff.
Her mobility was actually unbo. Like, Dad, take some notes. You need to work on it. But she finally got that somersault, and then she just kept doing it every time. We're going nuts in the room, and she's loving it. That was the highlight of my Christmas, honestly, was that.
Oh man, that's what Christmas is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, that was dope.
Being around family, and especially when the kids get like, old enough to like do some stuff, and they're hilarious. And then Lucy, my middle one's just, diva city, freaking just,
awesome.
Singing "This Girl Is on Fire" by Alicia Keys and Cotton Eye Joe, and she's pointing. I'm like, I don't know where she got that from, but yeah, that was fun times, man. Fun times. But I feel like we didn't get to talk hardly at all, but I guess we can do that now.
Yeah, there we go. Boom.
Okay, so we're going to talk about life lessons learned in hockey, but we do have something that we can't really talk about yet because it's still in planning stages, guys.
Woo!
But like the Hockey Think Tank podcast is going to a whole nother level in about a month. We say about a month? Yeah, about a month. It's going to be unreal. It's going to be unreal. And this is going to be like when I started doing this Hockey Think Tank thing, whatever you want to even call it, like 5 years ago, whatever it was, I had this idea of what I wanted it to be. And it's kind of because it was just a passion project first, and I had other things going on, it's kind of iterated and gone a whole bunch of different ways. And what we're going to be rolling out here in about a month is going to be basically what I wanted out of the Hockey Think Tank when I first started it. And so I can't really say much more because we got kind of a rollout plan. But you just stay tuned over the next month or so. This is going to be a game changer, I think, in hockey circles. And I'm just really excited for people to be a part of it. And Vex is going to be a big part of it too. And this is going to be pretty cool.
I'm excited to also like what we're doing, guys. Obviously, we've done this for 5 years. It's a one-sided conversation. It's us and our guests to you guys. What we're going to be doing is going to allow this conversation to be a little bit more back and forth. And that's all I'm giving you for now. But it's going to be very, very, very cool. It's going to also lead to a lot more cool things down the road here. So we're excited to bring you guys more and get to talk to you guys more actually too.
There we go. All right. And before we do get over to our conversation here, we do have some people to thank beforehand. First, want to thank Gel Sticks, our title sponsor. Go to GELSTX.com and get a discount by using Think Tank one word on some incredible weighted training sticks. They're used in the pros. They're used in the college level. They're used at the junior level. The NTDP uses them. Vex uses them in their gym. And so just a phenomenal value add if you want to make your shot better, or if you're a golfer, your golf shot better, or if you're a lacrosse player, they have lacrosse sticks as well. So go to gelsticks.com, GELSTX.com today and use that coupon code Think Tank one word.
Woo! I want to say thank you to Train Heroic. Train Heroic's the unbelievable platform that allows me to work with so many hockey players all across the world, from individual players to teams and organizations. I've already had a bunch of organizations reach out to me about their spring. All right. If you guys are looking to add something to your spring training, your spring league, whatever it is, right? I've got multiple organizations on board for me to deliver at-home workouts for younger players and in the gym training during the spring session with their spring league so that they're able to add more value to their players. So anybody, please reach out to me. There's a reason that I am literally the current Division I strength coach of a team in the NCAA Division I and NCAA Division III on top of all these junior teams. I can help, and my whole goal with this is to keep it extremely low cost. Please reach out to me. Train Heroic makes all that possible. So thank you to Train Heroic. Also want to thank Cure Nutrition. Cure Nutrition is a CBD company that I'm with. I use CBD twice a day, every single day. I have since 2017, 2018. my last season of hockey. It just helps me recover, helps my brain stay fresh from all the things I do day to day, being pulled in a million different directions every second of every day. So CBD helps me stay clear. What up? If you want to try it out, you can use my discount code GMBM by going to curenutrition.com, or I mean this, guys, reach out to me. Instagram is where I try to answer all the DMs. I don't have time to answer the Twitter one. So go on Instagram. You can DM me there. Ask me any questions you want, and I'll help you any way I can.
Boom. There we go. And thank you to Helios Hockey, new sponsor that we have. Incredible product. And what Helios Hockey does is it gives you a sensor that you put in your shoulder pads, and it gives you instant data, instant feedback on how you're doing on the ice. So it can help you with your stride mechanics. It's great for that. It can help you with what they call a hustle score in how you're moving around the ice. And one of the biggest value adds is it actually pairs up with whatever video you're using, whether it's Live Barn, your phone, iPad, camera, whatever it is, and it will cut your shifts for you instantly, and you will have them on your phone or iPad right after the game. So, I mean, just for that, it's worth it. But also with how they help you to teach stride mechanics, and how they can help you with your hustle score and how hard you're working on the ice for the kids. Really, really fun stuff. And so go to helioshockey.com today, and we have partnered with them to give you guys a little bit of a discount as well. So if you go there and use the coupon code ThinkTank, one word, it will give all new Helios members 20% off their initial 12-month membership. And not only that, you're going to get that sensor to put on your shoulder pads for free. So helioshockey.com, go there today. And also let's go to icehockeysystems.com as well. Honestly, the best website out there for anything coaching education related. You have access to thousands of drills. You have access to whiteboard and systems explanations from really high level hockey people. You can go on there and draw your drills, and we also have partnered with them to do an associations platform. So you can get this for every single coach within your youth hockey club. And what a value add. Coaches can share practice plans together. Coaches can share drills together. You can actually get PDFs, send them out to all of your players before practice, even your parents, if that's something you want to do too. And so just an unbelievable product. Go to icehockeysystems.com today, look up that associations platform, and you will be very, very happy that you did. Also, thank you guys so much. Everybody who's listening to us right now, we so appreciate your support. If you can help us to spread the word, we appreciate every like, every comment, every download, every rating, every follow. It just means so much to us. Not only the feedback that we get from you guys to help us to be better and to learn what you guys want us to talk about, because we take a lot of that stuff to heart. Honestly, a lot of our short shifts that we do come from DMs from our listeners on things that you guys would like to hear. So please continue to do that. And then if you can share us with your groups, whatever it may be, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's through DMs, whether it's through text, fax, whatever it is, we just so appreciate it. We're trying to spread the positivity of the hockey world, make the hockey world a better place, and that allows us to do that on a much higher level. So thank you to all of you. And with that, Vex, are you ready, my friend, to get going on the 5 biggest life lessons that you've learned that you carry with you today?
Hi, let's do it.
Hi. I almost went hi, because that's what you always do. Okay. So we have 5. We talked about this pre-show. Wanted to make sure that we got the 5 that were most meaningful to us as we went through our journeys throughout hockey, whether it was youth hockey, all the way up through when we played professionally, all the way up through coaching hockey, and now with what we're doing with the Hockey Think Tank and Give More, Be More. And so with that, we have number 1. You ready for this, Vex?
Hi.
Honestly, this might be one of the most important ones, and that's learning how to be a part of a team. Like really learning what teamwork is. And it's really funny that we're talking about this, because I ran into a friend of mine from high school who I literally have not seen since high school. I was bringing Lucy to her skating class on Wednesday, and a friend of mine, her name is Wenny. She was actually a lacrosse player, or sorry, not lacrosse, a field hockey player in high school. And she is now like, I'm sure based on how awesome she is, a higher up for an engineering firm. And we were talking about it, and she was like, I can't believe like how many people like have not played sports that I work with, and how some of the things that I learned from playing sports growing up like really translate to leading teams and being a part of a team here with what I do right now. And so I wanted to really dive into kind of like what you think was important that you learned in like how to be a part of a team and how you're using some of that stuff today. So if like just kind of backing it up, like what's one thing that really, really, really resonates with you right now?
With being part of a team
Yeah, with being
specifically.
a part of a team. Yeah, and learning how to just like teamwork.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I learned how to be a leader and I also learned how to be a follower. Like I learned how to follow somebody else's lead on the team. Like you can't when you're on a team, you're not always going to be the go-to guy. There's going to be situations where even if you are the best player on a sports team when you're younger, you're going to be injured, you're going to be sick, you're going to have a bad game. And on those days, you've got to learn to pass the baton to somebody else and let them lead and then you follow suit behind. And that's obviously like what's going to happen in life after sports, whether it's a group project in college. And sometimes you got to take the lead. Sometimes you got to follow somebody else's lead if they know more about you on the thing or on the whatever the project is or time. You can't make a meeting, so somebody else has to take over, right? Like that happens all the time in college. Happened to me all the time. It's the same thing with life after sports when you're in the working world. Sometimes you're going to start. A lot of times you're going to start at the bottom or you're going to start in the middle. You're not at the top. So you've got to do everything you can to be the best quote unquote follower. You guys who aren't watching this on YouTube didn't see me do air quotes there, but the laser, okay, you've got to be able to follow as well as, when you earn your stripes to become a leader, you got to know like what do good leaders do? What does that look like? How do you empower? How do you discipline? If you're the top dog and somebody's stepping out of line. Same thing with if you're not doing what you need to be doing and somebody has to tell you, hey, we need you to fall in line. Can you accept that? Have you ever had those tough conversations? And I'm so glad we're doing this podcast right now because literally like 2 days ago in the car, I was driving with Kylie and we were talking about people that we know as grown-ups who didn't play any sports at all and like how unfortunately we see it, we notice it. Yeah, that person definitely didn't play any kind of sports, like because they just don't have these qualities that were hammered home into us, especially me in hockey. Like this stuff is super important, and I think that it's why we love doing this podcast, because hockey especially sets you up to be successful in the rest of your life.
Totally, totally. And one of the things I'll piggyback on from what you just said is accountability. And I don't even necessarily mean like self-accountability, but the accountability to a group. Like if you don't do your part, if you don't do your job, it is going to affect other people. And that is something that you really learn in sports. It like Bill Belichick, what was his saying? Do your job. Just do your job. And if everybody does their job to the best of their ability, then everybody's accountable to the whole group and the whole group can move forward swimmingly. And so I just like understanding that you are a part of something greater than yourself, I think is one of the biggest gifts that playing sports as a kid can give you, because at some point you're going to be a part of a team and people are going to rely on you. People are going to rely on you, whether you're a leader, like you said, or whether you're a follower. You're not quite there yet. Like everybody has to do their part for the engine to keep rolling. Right. And so just the understanding that the world is bigger than you, understanding that people are going to rely on you for things. And if you don't do your job, it is going to have an effect on other people. I think that's a big one, because I think right now, even in hockey, right? Like the shift has gone so much, and we've talked about this, to like skill development and individual skills and things like that. And so like kids are so focused on themselves and their play that they don't see the bigger picture of how they play within a team game and how what they do affects their teammates. And at the end of the day, like if you want to play hockey at the highest levels, you better be able to learn how to be a part of a team. And for the kids out there that might be first liners and peewees right now, there's going to be a time where you are not going to be a first liner. I guarantee you that. There's maybe like 0.0000001% of people who never have to play on a third or fourth line, and their name is Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby. And
Everyone
so
else is playing on the second line or below at some point in their career.
yeah, right. So like I just having the understanding that you're a part of something bigger, I think goes a long, long, long way. And kind of with that, like roles and responsibilities. So like you play a specific role on your team, whether that's, talking hockey wise, you're going to be the best face-off guy and a great PK guy, or you're going to be the person who runs the power play, or you're going to be a fourth liner who is supposed to be awesome in the locker room and a great culture and a great glue person, or you're going to be the OV on the power play and ready to one time, like you're a pure goal. Like you need different types of roles. And so that is exactly what happens in life after hockey as well. Once you become a part of a team, you have your sales department, you have your marketing department, you have your operations department, you have all of these different things. And again, they all work together to make sure that the company can move forward united, or the team or the organization can move forward united. And if one of those cogs isn't functioning to the best of that ability, it affects other people. And so when you talk about roles and you talk about responsibilities, I think the other thing that you have to talk about is buy-in. I've never played for a championship team where everybody wasn't bought into the team's mission. Doesn't work that way. I've never worked with a company who didn't have unbelievable buy-in from everybody on what the team's mission, vision, goals, and things like that were. So like those are things that you have to learn, and that we learned majorly in our hockey experience, like having a role, buying into that role, and understanding that everybody's role is important to where we're going.
Yeah, I mean, I sat here at this desk. I had one of my players over to my house during Christmas break, plays in the USHL, who was having a really hard time mentally because he wasn't playing the role that he's played all growing up, and was struggling with it pretty badly. And I was like, bro, like thinking like he wasn't going to be able to play pro hockey, and like, well, why am I doing this now kind of thing. And I'm like, bro, you're playing junior hockey. And like, guess what? There's guys who are doing your role that make $600,000 up to a couple million. Like somebody is doing your role and being paid a crap load of money for it in just a few years. Like, don't think your role doesn't matter because you're not on the first PP. That's not a thing. Everyone's role on the team matters. And in pro hockey and in college hockey, everyone has a role, and you've got to play your role to the absolute best of your abilities. Just because you have less like scoring responsibility doesn't mean you matter less to the team. It doesn't. And guess what? The other part of that coin is, if you want a bigger role, if you want what in your eyes is a better role, well, then you've got to own the role that you're given right now. Because guess what? Coaches will not bump you up in the lineup if you don't excel at the lesser role that you're in right now. Everybody wants, I want first power play. I want to be on the first line. Well, you're not even doing what I'm giving you right now, and you're playing half the minutes. So you gotta crush that. You gotta love that role. You gotta cherish that role. You gotta murder that role and supersede, far exceed what coach is looking for from you, because then you get that next role. Then you get your next cookie. Then you get more rope. But you don't get to move up the depth chart without owning it. And that first starts with you in your own mind going, okay, this is my role right now. I'm going to be the best damn whatever the hell it is so that I can help my team. And then you get the more rope. Don't expect to be given anything else. Everything is earned. And again, there's millionaires that play fourth line their entire pro career. Millionaires. They played 15 years. Jamal Mayers, fourth line guy. I know him here from St. Louis. I think he played 15 to 16 years in the NHL. Probably almost all on the fourth line. Made millions and millions of dollars. Cam Jansen on this podcast, millions and millions of dollars, fourth line. Like there's tons of guys who do it, right? So just got to know that. And that
also
goes for the world.
Yeah, and also that's exactly what I was going to say. There's also a lot of fourth line players in like high school hockey that are millionaires in life after hockey because they were really good at that. They excelled at what they did. They learned a lot of stuff, the things that we're going to be talking about here on today's podcast, and they use those things. And like that's how you get successful. Like at the end of the day.
Dude, the supplement company, they're way more than a supplement company now. Their thing is like, we'll be bigger than Nike. First Form, like amazing, right? I'm a First Form athlete. Everyone who works for that company starts in the warehouse. Doesn't matter if you're coming over with X amount of credentials, you're starting in the warehouse. Everyone starts
No
in the
way.
warehouse. Yes. And the company's like, 500-600 people now. I don't even know. It's massive, right? It's huge. And then they've got another company that's part of that company, and that's got hundreds of people. Like, it's this massive juggernaut.
But everybody works in the warehouse.
Everyone starts in the warehouse.
That's
my
awesome.
my personal coach with them, who's relatively high up in the company, started in the warehouse. Everyone starts in the warehouse. So don't tell me you're too good to play that lesser looked upon role. Everyone starts in the warehouse.
That is a great. I love that. I'm kind of blown away right now. That's really cool.
Next time you come to St. Louis, I'll take you up there. It will literally. I take my pros up there a couple times a year for workouts, and literally a bunch of them are like, when I retire, I'd like to work for this company. And I'm like, well, you got to start in the warehouse, bro. And they're like, all right. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I think that's a good icing on the cake for this one. I mean, learning how to be a part of a team is such a value add, and honestly, like, I worked at Cornell, right? And so we would have a lot of high level recruiters from these Fortune 500 CEO companies come, and they want to hire athletes.
Yes.
They want to hire athletes because of what we're talking about right now. They don't want to hire people who are all about themselves, and that's the only thing that they've known for their entire lives. They want to hire people who understand what it means to be a part of a team, what it means to buy into a greater good, what it means to sacrifice a little bit of the me for the greater of the we. And so learn these lessons now, and I guarantee you it will help you later in life. Number one, to get a job, and number two, to succeed within that job and move up within a company, because at the end of the day, collaboration and working together is how companies succeed. And if you excel at that, and you can learn some of the leadership followership stuff that Vex was talking about a little bit earlier, then you're going to put yourself in a really good spot to do pretty well in life after hockey. So awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Way to put the cherry on top of that one, Vex. Okay. Number two, learning how to compete.
Who
Learning
does
how to
number
compete.
2 work for?
Yeah, I love the Austin Powers references. Such an undercover movie. Just the best. Learning how to compete. I'm going to let you go with this one, because this is something I know that really gets you going. So having the ability to learn how to compete in playing youth sports and playing hockey growing up, and how that helps you in life after hockey. Go ahead.
I think just competing, it has so many tentacles off of it, different ways that we could go, because resiliency. To be a competitor, you got to have resiliency.
We're going to talk about that in a sec, so let's put a lid on that one.
So we'll bag that one. But to compete, to show up every single day and give your all, it's not easy. It's not easy, and it's kind of a fluid concept, because there's going to be days where you don't feel good. There's going to be days where you don't have your best stuff. I'm talking hockey, business, life, doesn't matter. But competitors show up and compete. No matter what, they're going to find a way to add value to their team, to their work, to their relationships, whatever. Even on the bad days, they're going to want to compete. Also, you put them head to head against somebody else, whether it's a teammate and it's a bonding thing, or we're trying to level up the company or the team, they're going to want to battle. They're going to want to prove their stuff. They're going to want to give it their all. And like for me, and I shouldn't even say this. I'm probably going to get a bunch of messages. But like, I'm looking for a number 2 in my company in Ripped Hockey. I need somebody who played pro hockey, at the very least played college hockey, high level college hockey. Yeah. Or played pro hockey. And I've been looking for this guy. I've been running my business for it's either 15 or 16 years now. And I haven't found anybody that fits my standards, but I'm looking for a dog. I'm looking for a competitor. I'm looking for somebody who every single day, and like, I'm looking for ex-hockey players, right? So I'm looking at how they played the game. And I'm not saying I need a grinder, but I just need somebody who showed up every day, no matter what, to compete, because that's what it's going to take to do what I do every day and replace me inside my business. And I know all my friends are entrepreneurs. I pretty much only have friends that are entrepreneurs. Like that's just who I like to hang around with. We bounce ideas off of each other. We talk about all our businesses, all this stuff. They're all looking for dogs. They're all looking for people who want to compete, who want to be the best, who want to get better, who want to push the team around them to be even better, to go to higher levels. And for me, the game of hockey made me a competitor. Like, I don't know if I was naturally a competitor. I have no idea, but hockey made me a competitor because I had to be. And that is the reason why I think that I'm successful in life after hockey. I don't know. Thoughts?
Well, we know who number 2 is going to work for now.
Show that turd who's boss.
I love everything that you just said, man, and it makes so much sense. And that's why, like, who was it? I think it was Gary V. It's like, be very, very slow to hire and very fast to fire. Where, like, really doing your due diligence on people to see if they're a good fit for what you're trying to do. And yeah, I'm the same way. Like, if I'm gonna have people on my team, like, competitiveness is a non-negotiable. It's an absolute non-negotiable for a lot of different reasons. Number one is they're going to find a way. Like, they're going to find a way, even when their back's against the wall, even when things aren't going right. Like you said, even on days that they don't feel like showing up, they're going to show up and they're going to find a way. They're going to find a way to win. And those are, like, honestly, like, the best teams are the ones you ever hear, like, coaches when they talk about their teams, particularly in the playoffs, like, hey, yeah, I don't know, but we just found a way. We found a way to win. And there's something in that where it's a culture thing, it's a competitiveness thing, it's a buy-in thing, it's an intangible thing, something you can't really quantify. Maybe somebody's trying. I'm sure people are trying to quantify it, but it's that nest that we always talk about within a group. And, like, I don't think you can find a way without being extremely competitive. You know what I mean? Like,
I would agree.
you just got to find a way and show up even when you don't have it. And so I think that that's a really valuable skill. And the other thing is, like, obviously when you compete, there are going to be times when you're going to lose. You're not going to win all of your battles. You're not going to win every single thing that you put your hat into. But when you lose, that really reveals who you are. That reveals who you are, because what are you going to do? You're going to quit? You're going to give up? You're going to make excuses? You're going to point your fingers? Or are you going to freaking get back after it, learn a little bit of something, look in the mirror saying, what could I have done to be a little bit better? And then win the next one. Like, that to me is a true competitor, is the one. What is it that the man in the arena, if you haven't heard that poem, like, go, and I forget, I wish I had it in front of me. Maybe I will after you talk. I'll look it up on my phone or something like that. But, like, showing up and putting your best foot forth, that's competing to me. It's not about the result. It's not about winning. It's about, did you give your best? And I don't want to be surrounded with people, and I would never hire somebody that I didn't think had that quality. And, again, you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs. I've been involved in the higher levels of hockey and know a lot of people at those levels. And, like, they're not just looking for that in their hockey players that they're trying to recruit or that they're trying to, draft or whatever it may be to have a part if they're in pro hockey. Like, that's what they're looking for in management. That's what they're looking for in coaches. And the best, that's what they're looking for in janitors. That's what they're looking for in it permeates the entire company. Like, the entire company, it's showing up for each other. And so competitiveness for me is, again, it's not about the wins and the losses. It's about what you learn in the losses, but it's about showing up, especially on the days when you don't feel like you have it.
The people that I look up to the most too, they're always competing against their old self. Like,
100%.
yes, they're competing against their competition and whoever it is, but, like, they're always competing against their former self. Can I get better than yesterday? Am I a better version now of myself than I was a month ago? And like, I think that's really important, and I think that sports teaches you that. Like, I told Toph before we got on this podcast, when we just, when he told me, what the topics were for tonight, what we're going over, and I was just telling him, like, dude, I talked to so many former hockey players who I've never met. they might have played in the NHL, European pro, college, whatever it is. And they're like, I'm getting out of hockey. I've seen you make the transition. How did you do it? Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to be. I'm lost and all this stuff. But like, they just think they're going to be like an overnight success because they played pro hockey for 10 years or 15 years and made millions or whatever. It doesn't even matter where their career took them. They just think, and I'm like, dude, were you a pro hockey player at 6? How about 8? How about 10? How about 12? How about 14? How about 16? How about 18? How about 20? Oh, no, 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 no. You had to constantly show up, battle, compete against everyone else and your former self to get better and better and better and better and better. And then finally, it paid off in the result that you've been looking for since you were a little kid of becoming a pro hockey player. So don't think it's going to happen overnight. You just got to show up today and beat yesterday's self. That's all you got to do every single day. Be a dog, compete every day, get freaking better.
Amen. I could not have said it any better. There's no better competitive match or competitive game than competing with yourself yesterday. And yeah, and the best part about that too is like there's always a plateau, right? There's always a plateau. Like let's say you're working in sales in life after hockey and you pride yourself on you set yourself a goal of I'm going to make 50 cold calls. 50 cold calls every day. And then all of a sudden you get really good at cold calls. And now, maybe the first week you were doing them, you were executing and getting the sale on 10% of them. And then after the first month, it was 15% and then 20% and so on and so forth. And then you hit a plateau. Like there's only so much that I can do in making these cold calls. So what do? You find another way. Okay, well, maybe there's something I can do on social media where I can be reaching out, and you have to think a little bit outside the box. And when you're always competing to try to get a little bit better than you were before, you're going to have to learn new ways of doing things. You're going to have to think outside the box. You're going to have to seek out mentors and people who can coach you and mentor you and things like that. And so I can't agree with you more. You probably said it way better than I did there, probably because I don't know, you're smarter than me, but
I was on mute, guys. That was throwing in a Happy Gilmore joke, but we're just going to pass over it. You guys.
No, now you got to say it. What was it?
I'm stupid. You're smart. I'm not good looking. You're very attractive.
Although in this case, you'd be saying you are not very smart. I am really smart. But no, like it's like competing against your former self. It just, again, it teaches you how to find a way, because at some point you can only do so many bench presses. Okay, well, how am I still going to make my pecs and shoulders a little bit bigger or stronger, whatever it may be? So
the answer is train with me online.
There you go. Train Heroic, GMBM.
What's that?
Coupon code. All right. Next, we're going to talk about number 3. So first, we talked about the importance of being a part of a team. Second, we talked about competitiveness. And third one is something that, we've talked about it until we're blue in the face. It honestly shows up in almost every podcast that we do, with every interview, with every high-level person that we bring on here, and that's resilience. The ability to get back up after you've been knocked back down. And so this is, honestly, I tell people this when I do my team building or I do my mentorship calls: resilience is a superpower. Resilience literally is a superpower. And the more you can gain resilience, the more you are going to succeed in life. Because at the end of the day, it was Alex Hormozy, I think, said it. If you're not following him on social media, you need to follow Alex Hormozy. Honestly, I think he's the best follow on social media, and I don't even think it's close. And he was talking about something to the effect of like, you don't win, you just outlast people. Just by, at some point people are going to give up. And if you keep going and 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 keep going, eventually your sheer will and your resilience is going to last out. And most people that build companies, it doesn't happen on their first try. It doesn't happen on their second try. It doesn't happen on their third try. It doesn't happen on their fourth try. They fail and they fail and they fail and they fail, and they learn and they learn and they get back up and they get back up and they get back up. And then eventually they find a way, like we've been talking about. Now, it's really hard to do that. But again, resilience is an absolute superpower.
I mean, it's that company I was talking about, First Form. So the guy who owns that company, there's two guys, but the main guy, the face of the company, Andy Frisella, big time entrepreneur, boys with Alex Hermosi, absolute boys with Hermosi. He was actually, I saw Hermosi at the First Form party they have every summer. I was
No
at it.
way.
Yeah, Hermosi was there. And yeah, I didn't get to meet him, but he was there. And Andy Frisella always talks about, I'm so glad you brought this up, and it's a resilience thing. He always talks about that people think that, especially like business owners, they think that success is a hockey stick, but like the way that we hold a hockey stick. So like you put in work and that's the blade. And then if I put in some work, bang, I'm going to get successful. The shaft of the stick goes up, right? Like a graph. But he's like, nah, it's the opposite. You lay the stick on the ground and it's shaft butt end first. And the long shaft is the work, all the work. And he says, like, it usually takes people 10 years to get successful. And all of a sudden, 10 years in, or however long it takes that person, then you hit the blade and go bing up, right? And that whole process is the resiliency process illustrated. You're learning, adapting, applying over and over and over. And like Toph said, where Mosey says that you outlast people. Well, if you keep going and you're have somewhat of a brain, as you keep going through that journey of resiliency, fall down, get back up, fall down, get back up, do it better, dust myself off, get a little bit smarter, get a little bit more efficient, get a little bit more effective. I call it learn, adapt, apply over and over and over and over and over and over and over. That is resiliency. You failed today, but you know that that's not the end of the line. Your goal isn't to be the best you've ever been today. It's to be that whenever it is, right? Whenever it is down the line, when you turn pro in hockey, when you can get a scholarship of age, when you can make a junior team. So I don't care how good you are at 12, learn, adapt, apply, fail faster, mess up, learn from it immediately, be resilient, get better. You know, like the amount of times that I got kicked down in my career and I could have easily stayed down. Easily. It could have ended about 500 times throughout the entire journey from when I started playing real hockey in 7th grade until I retired at 32. I got paid to play hockey for 10 years, you know, because of resiliency, literally, you know, and I know it's the same for you. The reason you were able to play as long as you were and be the captain of a D1 team and play pro hockey in the early mid 2000s when you were freaking 5'4" is because you were so damn resilient, you know, like guys, this is everything. Everything is learn, adapt, apply. Failure is not final.
Yeah, it's always darkest until it's dawn, right? It's
Yeah.
always darkest until it's dawn. And like for all the kids that are out there listening, I was cut in Pee-wees. Ended up being one of the best things that ever happened to me because I had to go to a lesser team with a better coach and just got so much better, so much better, so much better. And then when I was 15 years old, I've told this story, but I was at a USA Select Festival and was one of the leading scorers there and thought I was going to make the team going overseas. It was my absolute dream to wear Team USA on my sweater. And I was told that I didn't make the team. I was good enough to make the team, but I did not make the team because I was too small. These were the coach's words to me. Okay. So talk about a punch in the gut right there. One of the best things that ever happened to me. I've never been so motivated in a summer to get better than after that. And then the year after that, I led the USHL preseason in scoring at the tournament that all the colleges are at. I had scholarship offers from all these schools. I had visits lined up. It was incredible. And then the next week I tore my ACL and everybody stopped calling. Ended up being one of the best things that happened to me what ended up being one of the best things that ever happened to me. So here I'm telling you guys, I got cut as a peewee. I got cut when I didn't deserve to get cut. And I blew out my knee and had to miss almost an entire year of hockey. And I'm sitting here telling you that those were three of the best things that ever happened to me. And what I will tell to the parents now is I give my parents all of the credit for me believing that those were some of the best things that ever happened to me because they didn't let me pout. They didn't let me feel sorry for myself, maybe for a day, maybe for a day it was warranted. But then they said, okay, what's a positive that we can take out of this and how can we use it to get better? And like without that, without that support quit being quit feeling sorry for yourself. Like, what are we going to take out of this? I'm not here right now talking about it. Like I don't achieve all the great things that I was able to achieve in hockey had it not been for my parents and my support group. And so I think that if you want to be a resilient person, you have to surround yourself with people who will teach you how to be resilient and not make freaking excuses for you. If there is one thing that, again, we're talking about life after hockey and how the things that we learned in hockey and how they translate, the one thing that will not get you hired, the one thing that will make you a cancer of whatever organization you're going to be in is if you make excuses. If you're the excuse guy or you're the excuse girl and you're constantly going around with a negative attitude when things go wrong and you're saying poor me or making excuses for why things didn't get done instead of looking in the mirror and taking responsibility for things, like you're useless. Like you're a negative value add to whichever group that you're a part of. You are an incredible positive value add if you are somebody that walks the walk and takes whatever situation that's in front of you, takes responsibility for it, even maybe if it's not warranted, but you're like, no, okay, I'll put this on, I'll figure out a way, you know? And like that resilience, guys, like it's contagious. It's contagious. Excuse making and negativity is contagious, but positivity and resilience is contagious too. And I only want to surround myself with people who are resilient and have a positive attitude when things don't go right. And I'm sure we've all been a part of teams with we call them the Eeyores. You know, the Eeyore, that Winnie the Pooh, oh, hi, you know, always like that. Like I've been a part of teams where there's people like that and it just like permeates through the entire locker room and it sucks. And so like find a way to find a good in a situation. And then again, for the kids out there, right? Like I'm telling you that 3 of the toughest things in my career that I had to face ended up being some of the best things that ever happened to me because of what I learned through that process and how much it motivated me to want to compete and be better. And so take that with whatever is going on in your life right now, whether you're a kid and you're trying to get through your journey and you're going through the ups and downs, whether you're an adult watching your kid going through the journey and going through the ups or downs, or whether you're an adult and you're not in hockey anymore, you're in real life and you understand how difficult parenting is and you understand how difficult it is to, you know, juggle being a parent and doing your things professionally and all the stuff that you have going on. Like find a way to find a positive, find a way to take ownership and accountability and find a way to find a positive in everything that you do. Resiliency, man, it's a superpower.
I love it. I love it. I always say if it's important to you, you'll find a way, or you'll find
Yeah.
an excuse, and you'll find yourself like everybody else, unsuccessful.
Wait, say that again. Did that rhyme? Was that like a thing?
No, I just always say it to myself, like, if it's important to you, you'll find a way, and if it's not, you'll find an excuse, and you'll find yourself like everybody else, unsuccessful. Yeah.
I feel like that could be like in a rap. We got to get some music to the background of that at some point.
Yeah.
Find a way, find an excuse, lose everybody else. Oh man, it's a superpower, man. Like if you have an uncanny ability to get back up with whatever knocks you down, I guarantee you're going to be successful in life. Guaranteed, man.
100%.
Absolutely guaranteed.
Sports teach that more than anything else for kids. Anything. There's nothing else because you got to think about it. And I always talk about with parents. It's like that kids are obsessed with sports, especially hockey players. The hockey podcast. Little hockey players, they're obsessed with hockey. It's all they want to do. All they want to do is play hockey all day, every day, in the garage, in the basement, shinny hockey, real hockey, practice games. It doesn't matter. It's all they want to do. So because that's all they want to do, let's use that, as a way to sneak in all of these life lessons. And it is like the perfect vehicle to use because they care about it so much. And then you just teach them all these life lessons, bake it in. And coaches, you should be doing this. Like, to me, this is your main job. This is your main job as a coach, is to sneak in all these life lessons through the metaphor that is hockey.
Yeah, I had a strength coach. I know I've said this story before, but it's probably been a couple of years. But our strength coach at Cornell was the best. Like, just an unbelievable human being, full of energy. Talk about positivity. Like, he just had you running through a brick wall for him every time you went to go work out. And one of the things that he used to do is he'd put us through just a bagger of a workout, just one of like tough workouts. And then we'd be done and we'd all be like clapping, it's over. And we'd all come in, 1, 2, 3, go red. And so we do that 1, 2, 3, go red. And you know what you would do? All right, get back on the line. Let's go. And then we'd have to do like more like just hard stuff. But like the lesson in it was like, okay, like here we go. I just threw a roadblock at you. Here we go. Like you guys thought you were good. Boom. Now here's some adversity. Let's go. And like there were guys that were rolling their eyes, like this is BS. I can't believe it. And then like it was up to us, like the leaders of the group, to be like, nah, like let's go. Like we're gonna do what coach says. Here we go. And it was just like he called what was it? We called it like artificial not artificial, but like you're finding a way to like put adversity
create resistance.
Create resistance, create adversity on the front end, right? So again, it's something that you can practice, something 100%. You can practice at the end of the day. And, and then so we did. So it was like, okay, how are we going to come together as a team in adversity? Because like then it was up to the leaders to see the guys who were rolling their eyes and be like, we just did a workout. Why do we have to do another one? It's like, no, because this is how we do things here. This is how we get through the tough stuff. And it was just awesome, man. Like it was just there are ways you can create that kind of stuff in practice or with what you're doing. And then it teaches the players how to get through it. I loved it.
I lie to my guys almost every single day in the off season on purpose, literally on purpose for that exact reason. And when I train little kids, I always do it with wall sits. I'll give them a time. And then as soon as we get to that time, then I give the speech of, you will not die. If you will, I know you're shaking. I know you are, guys. But guess what? When in that next game, when you're down a goal with 30 seconds left, face off in the zone, you're not tired. Everything is up here. Life is up here. So little kids, I use wall sits, but with my guys, I'll use something hard every single day. And I get them every single time. And I'm like, I don't care. I know I did that on purpose. I told you that lie because I want you to think you were done and you're not. Let's do another one right now because everyone else just stopped after that one. Not us. Let's go. Like every day I do that to them. I love that.
It's so good though. Like it is like in all honesty, it's
especially because you got some players who hold out that to spending everything they got. You got the players who are always asked, how many? And I go, every time you ask, I'm going to add another one, first of all, like, because I know that you're trying to save it for the very last one. Well, if you win only the last race and you win by a lot, that tells me you saved it up for the first 4. So yes, we're all doing another one because you saved it up. Let's go. So don't be that guy. Spend it.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So we got teamwork, we got compete, we got resilience. The fourth one is commitment, like learning how to commit to something, learning how to be disciplined in your pursuit and your commitment for what you're trying to do. And, again, we say all the time, like, man, is it a powerful thing from a life standpoint to put everything that you have into something. Find what it is that you love and really truly commit to it. And like, I don't think there's anything greater. Like there's nothing better than doing that, but that's hard. It's really, really hard because commitment is an everyday thing. It's not a sometimes thing. It's an everyday thing. And, we used to call them everydayers. When we're recruiting, we want to recruit everydayers, people who are going to show up every day, people who are going to give it their all every day for themselves and for the team. And so let's talk a little bit about commitment and what you learned about commitment as you were kind of coming up through the ranks in your hockey career and how that has helped you in what you're doing today.
Well, when I was young hockey player, commitment was my parents sitting me down and telling me, okay, do you want to play for this team? Well, they have practices this many days a week. They have these many games. You'll be going out of town. Is that what you want to do? Okay, well, unless for some reason there's some crazy happenstance, or if you don't have good enough grades, then we will sit you out, or if you're sick. But other than that, you're committing to this team, you're going to show up. So it taught me that type of commitment. It taught me responsibility. It also taught me, if you want to play more, if you want to get better, you've got to commit to your craft. For me, that was obviously hockey. You want more playing time, you want to score more goals, you want to be more successful, commit to it. What are you willing to do? Are you going to practice more than everybody? Are you going to shoot every day? Are you going to watch hockey? Are you going to do all these different things? Like you've got to display, not just talk about, oh, I love hockey. No, are you committed? Are you going to be responsible? Are you going to be dedicated? Like you said, are you going to do all these things
Show
that have
me.
to do with
Show me, don't tell me. Show
yeah,
me, don't tell me.
yeah,
Yeah.
do it. Not with your lips, with your actions, and a big one too is just like responsibility. Like responsibility for young kids is massively important, teaching them what that means. And part of my responsibilities to be a hockey player, like I said, were like my grades. I remember my parents, I got obviously every kid is different, right? Every kid has different like learning abilities and all these things. And, um, you know, as much as I like say stupid things and stuff, like school is very easy for me. I got straight A's almost my whole life. The only time I didn't was when I didn't apply myself, and my parents knew that. They knew that if I got a bad grade, it was literally because I didn't study, I didn't do the homework or whatever, because school is easy. So I brought home a C in math class in fourth grade. And my parents and they knew it was because I didn't do the homework and I wasn't trying, not because I wasn't applying myself. So they made me stand in front of my team and the coaches, and I showed up in a suit, or like a nice, for a kid, and tell them that I was not allowed to play in that game because I didn't try in school. And so I had to sit out. So I hurt my team, and my parents made it known to me that this isn't really about you. You're hurting the team because you weren't responsible to do your homework and study for that test. So like you have hurt the rest of your team. And if they lose this game, like you're in the stands because you weren't responsible. You didn't uphold your end of the bargain to be a hockey player. And I sat there and I watched. I don't remember if we won or lost, but I remember sitting in the stands, like crying, being super embarrassed. And guess what? Like I did not bring home a C again, from fourth grade all the way through college. I probably got a couple C's, but C's get degrees, baby. So once I got there, I was fine. But like I look at that and like that was an unbelievable way for them to instill that in me as a kid, and responsibility and commitment and everything we're talking about here.
I want every parent and every kid listening to rewind 2 minutes and listen to Vex tell that story again. Like he wasn't doing the job in school, and so his parents made him get in front of the team and say, "I'm sorry for not doing my part. I will not be able to play today." And the lesson that came with that, and what happened to you afterwards, and how hard you worked in school after that. Oh man, that's a priorities thing. Like I'm doing so many of these parent talks right now, and speaking to parents within these organizations, and I have a slide on there that literally says priority. Number one, family. Number two, academics. Number three, hockey. In that order, no need to even elaborate. And why you need to be committed to your family first. You need to be committed to your academics second, and you need to be committed to your hockey third. Hockey, you said at the beginning, and I think it's so true. Hockey is a privilege. It's not a right. And if you're a kid and you're being a ding dong at home and you're not treating your brothers or your sisters right, or you're not treating your parents right, or you're not doing your chores around the house and not living up to the bargain of the things that you're supposed to be doing, you know what? Your parents should take your hockey away. If you're not working hard academically, and again, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about grades A's, B's, and C's, because everybody has different academic profiles. Some people have to work really, really hard to get C's, right? And so if you're not putting in the work hockey wise, your parents should take your hockey away. And why? It's because of the podcast that we're doing right now. Because the things that you learn right now as a kid are going to translate to your life after hockey is over. And if you want to be a good employee, if you want to be a good husband, if you want to be a good father or mother or wife, these are the things that are going to help you to be that best version of whatever that role is that you're going to be playing. And so, here we are, Vex, who's killing it right now, who killed it during hockey, had his mom and dad stand up in front of his team when he got bad grade and say, I let you down. Like, it's my fault. Like, and I just feel like that's so, man, that's awesome. Call Phil.
And talking about responsibility too, like I'm pretty positive that when I've talked about this with my mom, like since I've become an adult, like last year at like 37, I'm still waiting for that one. That I think she got like some crap from the coaches and the other parents too. Like, hey, come on, we need him to play. Like, we need to win. And she was like,
wow,
no, like this is he's not dressing. He is doing this because these are our rules, and he wasn't responsible. So like on the other end too, my mom was like committed and responsible to like doing what's best for me, playing the long game, knowing me too, and keeping me on the straight and narrow and on the right path. And like, maybe if she doesn't do that, I don't get a scholarship 10 years later, like, or whatever, 8 years later. I
No,
don't know how
it's so true, man.
like
It's
that
so
thing,
true.
that experience
Yeah.
made me adapt and apply and get better moving forward, and manage my time and do all these things, and realize like academics come first. And no matter how good I am at hockey, I'm not able to play hockey if I don't try at this thing that we value in our household. So, my mom's just a saint. She's a badass. Thanks,
Love
Mom.
that. Way to go, Aunt Kyle. Good
Woo.
work.
I know you're
The other
listening.
thing, the other thing that I want to talk about as it relates to commitment, and I think this is a really big one, is discipline. And I've said this before, and we've talked about it before, but I feel like discipline, the word, gets a bad rap. I feel like it's a word that people use only like, little Johnny does X wrong, so I need to discipline little Johnny. To me, that's not discipline. I mean, it is in a certain way, but that's not the most powerful form of discipline. For me, discipline is having the commitment, that's what we're talking about, to do the right things every day. Like that to me is true discipline. It's self-discipline. It's discipline in myself to really do the things that I say I'm going to do. And at the end of the day, that, I don't know, I'll ask you, like, that's probably the hardest thing in the world to do. Right? The hardest thing in the world to do is be disciplined enough with yourself to do the daily things that are going to help you reach your goal at the end of the day. What would you say to that?
100%. And I think it's because most people focus on the result. Like that's all they see, the shiny thing at the end, whether that's making the team, a scholarship, a new contract, a bonus, whatever it is. And they just focus on that. But like you don't get to that unless you win today. And you go to sleep, recover, wake up tomorrow, win tomorrow. Go to sleep, recover, wake up, win the next day. And it's just, I talk about it all the time with people, like, especially with like the kids and the younger guys I train. And when I do these speeches and stuff, it's like success is monotonous. Success is boring in a sense that you just
it's
gotta,
very boring. Success
like,
is very boring for
like,
90% of the time.
yeah. I look back and we're talking about discipline and this and commitment, and man, like I look back at my life, like to get to where I am today, and to get a scholarship, and then to become the captain of a team, and that of a college team, and then to sign in the NHL, and then to overcome an injury the first year where my career almost ended, and then get paid to play 9 more years after that with however many concussions I had through that, and still continue to keep going, put up numbers, and get paid. Like it's crazy the amount of discipline that I had to use in my everyday life for like a 16-year period, I would say. But like, I look back and I'm like, wow, like that was a little bit monotonous. But that is the reason that me, as a guy who looked like Happy Gilmore on the ice, was able to get paid to play hockey 10 years, was strictly because of that I'm going to get up and I'm going to do everything I can today to get better. And I'll go to sleep and I'm going to do it the next day. I'm going to do it the next day. I'm going to do it the next day. Delayed gratification. I know that I'm not going to get that contract in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. I have to continually get better every day and move that needle. And then wherever it ends up, it ends up. And no matter what happens, if you live that way, I like the metaphor of, you're shooting for the moon, or you're shooting for the stars. I'm sorry, but if you live this way, no matter what, even if you don't reach the stars, you're gonna land on the moon, and great things are gonna come from it. And I think that both you and I are a prime example of that. Obviously, we both wanted to make $50 million playing in the NHL, being superstars. Didn't happen. We still have pretty awesome lives, both you and I. We both make pretty good money. We both have unbelievable families, like all these positive things. We both make a living in hockey doing what we love. Right. And although we didn't land on the stars that we shot for, we're on the moon, and it's a pretty damn good place.
The moon's a pretty good place. I think the saying is shoot for the moon, and even if you don't get it, you'll land amongst the stars. I think that might be.
Is that it? Aren't the stars further than the moon?
They are, but I don't think that's what the saying is. Or maybe it's
Wow.
shoot for the stars, and if you don't hit the stars, you'll end up on the moon.
That's what I said.
Somebody fact check us and
Factcheck.org.
It's so true. And it's funny, like I was on this kick, and if you listen to the podcast for a couple years, like you probably remember me hearing me like ask this to specific people. And I used to always ask the question, like, hey, how do you make development sexy? Because of what we're talking about, we're like, it's very monotonous. It's very boring. It's doing the same things every day. It's repetition. It's repetition. It's repetition. And I was like trying to find a way to make that like a little bit sexier so people would like want to buy into it more. And I've stopped asking that question because it's not sexy. And that's the sexy part about it. That's like the beauty of it, is that it's really hard to do that every single day and do the monotonous things and not take a day off. But like, that's where the true beauty is, like that's where, like, once you do end up finding the success, reaching the moon, reaching the stars, like you'll look back on all of those days where like it was boring. You look back at all those days where you didn't want to show up, but you did. And then you're thankful for the fact that you did. And so having that self-discipline, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Okay. Thanks, Steph. So I was right there. Okay, cool. But like at the end of the day, like having that self-discipline, having that commitment, like that's why, like when you end up winning or you end up getting the carrot, getting the thing at the end, if you're fortunate enough to do that, like it means so much more from if you've put in the work and you've sacrificed. Like if you didn't really sacrifice and like you just kind of lucked into it, just kind of happened, like it still obviously feels good. But when there's pain and when there's monotony and when there's like twists and turns and you had to battle through like that truly, then you really truly feel it.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
So commitment, man, commitment, discipline. You said it too. Delayed gratification. Like you ain't going to see the results right away, but like Alex Hormozy said, outlast them, outlast the person you're competing against. Okay. So the last one we're going to talk about here, we talked about teamwork. We talked about competing. We talked about resilience. We talked about commitment and discipline. The last one we're going to talk about is confidence. The last one we're going to talk about is confidence. And what I want to talk about with confidence is when you are going through your journey, the more of the journey you go through, the more that you understand and realize that you earn your confidence. You earn your confidence by all the things that we've just talked about, by competing and out-competing people, by being resilient and getting back up even when you're being knocked down and staying positive, by committing to something and mastering your craft. Like that's where true confidence comes from. And like that's something that we learn going through it. Now, when you talk about learning and earning confidence, that comes with losing it. How many times in your career did you lose confidence? Every year? Yeah. Multiple times every year. Yeah, exactly. And that's going to happen. Freaking A, is that going to happen in life? Like for all the parents that are listening right now, like talk about losing confidence in your parenting abilities when your kids are melting down or not listening or whatever. Like that's a daily occurrence, but you have to find a way. You have to find a way to keep showing up and keep doing the things that you think are important to teach your kids, whatever you want to teach them. In life after hockey, when it comes to your job, like you're going to lose confidence if you're in sales. Like you're not going to get the sales all the time. You're probably, if you're a 50%er, you're making millions of dollars because you're really, really good at what you do. Most people, when they're selling stuff, it's a pretty small success rate. And so just like finding a way to understand that through work, you earn your confidence, that you are going to ebb and flow with your confidence. Like those are things you learn from playing sports when you're younger. And it's a great way to like really kind of figure it out after hockey's over in life, man. It's crazy. It's very paralleled, isn't it?
100%. And for me, like confidence is everything. I don't care what you're doing in life. If you're doing it in a confident way, you're doing it better. Like it's everything. And people, like I said, like I talk about this all the time on the podcast. Like I do calls weekly, multiple calls a week with players at all different levels that have lost their confidence and don't know what to do and feel like they're in quicksand or whatever. And I help them get out of it, mainly because I found myself in it multiple times in my career and I had to find a way out. And I've learned something. Confidence is earned. It doesn't matter if you got the richest dad in the world. He can't buy you confidence. It doesn't matter if your coach is obsessed with you and he can't give you confidence. No one can give anyone else confidence. They can make you feel good and they can say nice things about you and give you every opportunity in the world. But that is not confidence. That does not give you confidence. The only way that you can become a confident person, athlete, businessman, husband, wife, whatever, is by doing the work to earn it. And doing the work to earn it takes resiliency. You have to compete. It takes dedication. You have to show up day in and day out. And you've got to focus your intention on the right things to earn your confidence for whatever it is you're trying to be confident in, right? Confidence is earned every single day by focusing on the minutia, by focusing on the tiny little details every single day and executing. And when you do that, every time you execute some little thing, some little detail, you get a little bit more confident. You believe in yourself a little bit more. Toph and I have talked many times about just like the hardships of entrepreneurship and owning a business and how important it is to like write down the things you're going to do tomorrow and then how good it feels when you cross one of them off. Because what does that do? You earning your confidence. I'm doing what I need to do to get to where I want to be. Cross that off. Bang, whatever it was. Make my bed. Bang. Why does David Goggins and all the Jocko Willnick and all these people say the first thing you should do every day is make your bed? Because then the first thing you're doing every single day is getting a win. Boom, instant confidence. Drink your water before your coffee because you're supposed to. It's better for your gut. You're going to be healthier. All these things. Boom, did the right thing. Confidence built. It's like those little details, and people don't understand this. I was Happy Gilmore, but I did everything I could to earn confidence in all these little ways that nobody else was doing back when I played. Nutrition, sleep, supplementation, visualization, listening to sports psychologists in my ear before every game at 18, right? I'm just using me because I can tell you all these little things that me, as somebody who wasn't as good as my peers, I was able to make it to the highest levels of hockey because I was confident, because I did everything I could to earn my confidence. And that's what I do to teach guys that I train and do these calls with every single day, guys. Confidence cannot be given. It can only be earned.
Love that, man. And isn't it funny? Like, we're talking about the process and doing the right things every day. It's almost funny how getting the result can actually give you a false sense of confidence. Like, if you're given the result or you didn't really have to earn the result, then what happens? You get a little bit complacent, right? You get a little bit complacent, and now all of a sudden it's like, ooh, I got the result and I can rest on my laurels. But no, like, that's not what successful people do. Like, successful people are the ones that, we talked about resiliency and that revealing character, but also when you win and what you do when you win, I think that also reveals character too. Because are you going to show up the next day with as much vigor? Are you going to show up the next day with as much of a willingness to really earn that confidence that got us the result potentially in the first place? And so, like, confidence is a really tricky thing because sometimes, like, you can be overconfident too and forget about the work that you put in to help you to earn it. And that's why it's like really hard to be great, because to be great, you got to be steady. You got to be steady with your, like, it's not so up and so down and so up and so down. Like, almost everybody in sports, it's always up and down and up and down and up and down. But, like, honestly, the greats, they find that way that when they get the results, they're right back at work the next day and they continue to earn it. They continue to earn it. They continue to earn it. And I just think that's like, man, that's such like a valuable life skill to have when you're going through your journey. We talked about resiliency in the downs, but continuing to earn it even when you do find the results, like that's a pretty special thing to do too.
And it's hard. And that's why it's hard to be special and to be great, because it takes consistently doing all these things that we've talked about throughout this whole podcast. That's how you become great. And there's very few greats. I'm sorry to tell you guys, not everybody's great. Not everybody can be the best. The best is a singularity. It's a one. One person is the best. That's why it's so hard to do all these things. But when you start to do these every day, and if we start to to make this a massive focus for young athletes and use hockey as the metaphor, we're going to get a lot more greats.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So honestly, if you want to be great at anything that you do, hopefully this is a podcast that really helped you to do that. At the end of the day, Vex and I, we try to do our best to be as vulnerable, open as we can. And I don't know, there's nothing that I've held back on in the telling of my story. And I know same with you. And so these are things that we're talking about here today that came with a lot of struggle, man. Like learning these lessons was not always the easy way. Most of the time it was the hard way. If not all the time, it was the hard way. What's that face?
Sometimes it was terrible. It was very hard to learn these things. I'm so happy that we can help people to maybe not have some of the shittiness that we went through, but also eating that shit burger is also good for you when you're younger. So
well, again, it's providing a perspective that when you're going through the crap, right? When you're going through the stuff, understand that that's a part of it. Understand that we're sitting here living, talking to you guys all today in your cars or in your AirPods or wherever you're listening, that like we've been there, man. Like we've been there, and all of those things that we went through, the good, the bad, and the ugly, turned out to be a net positive for us because of the things that we learned. And we are successful in what we do today because of all of the things that we're talking about. And honestly, like hockey was just a vehicle. Like what we were really learning was life lessons at the end of the day. It really was. We did it through hockey, but if we're talking about the whole experience, we back up 10,000 foot view. It's really the life stuff that we're going to carry with us that helped us in our hockey careers and are helping us even today as business people, as husbands, as fathers, as brothers, sons, like all of the things that are way more important than hockey. And so, again, we talked about teamwork, having the understanding of what it means to be a part of your team and how you fit into it and the role that you play, and accountability, competing, learning how to compete, right? Learning how to be resilient, really understanding the value of commitment and discipline, and how you can earn your confidence through all those things. And if you think about it as a whole, they all relate to each other in some way, in some capacity. All of these life lessons that we talked about today, they fit in very similar categories, and it's almost like you can't have one without the other. And so, man, just kind of hopefully this can help you as you're going through your journey, as it did with us. And Vex, you got any last parting words?
No, man, just win the day, recover, go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, win the friggin' day. That's it. Repeat. Just do everything we talked about in this podcast every single day. Go to sleep, recover, wake up tomorrow, do the exact same thing.
Love it. All right. We love you guys. Hope you guys had a great holiday, and we'll see you again